Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Own Your Essence podcast, where we get to have deep transformational conversations with some of our favorite people. I'm your host, April DeMille, and today I'm going to read off, hold on one second. One second. Um, I have to cheat off my phone here, so one second while I do this. Oh, okay. So, please welcome our special guest. Her name is Shari Lillico. She is a deep alignment intuitive, a healer, a multi-modality energy worker, and author dedicated to guiding seasoned spiritual seeking women in overcoming persistent challenges and embracing their soul's divine potential. One second. She will be right here. Drum roll, please. Thank you. Hey, sweet lady. So I had just read off your introduction, and I'm one of those people that likes to just dive right in. So if you're able to tell us a little bit about your story and how you, I guess, kind of like how you ended up in the deep intuitive alignment healing aspect of it.
Um, sure. It's actually kind of a long drawn out process.
Yeah.
Um, but needless to say, it really, really did start. Well, it started when I f figured out I loved energy, but then I let that part go for a while. But then when the my kids left home, I had to find me again, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a common thing, I think, for a lot of uh, empty nesters.
Oh,
But
yeah. I'm with you
right,
on that. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so like I said, I had to find out who I was. So I started getting back into I got into the self-development stuff and I got into the energy work. And then I found spirituality.
Right.
And it's not like I didn't know about, I mean, I think religion and spirituality are completely different things. Of course, I'd been in, Sunday school or whatever as a child and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't even scrape the surface of spirituality, far as I'm
Nope.
concerned.
Yep. Right there
Um,
with you.
and so, yeah, I ended up getting into spirituality and the self-development. And as I would let go of something, something else would come up. And it was, of course, it feels like it's a never-ending journey of, you know, going through layer after layer after layer after layer, right? But as I went through all these layers, I learned something else, or, I started getting downloads and I started getting, various different things. And after one thing after another, I ended up um, embracing my intuitive awareness and, really taking guidance from our guides or angels, however you want to look at the universe or whatever. And yeah, I just basically followed the path. I just
Yeah.
journeyed the path.
It's follow the yellow brick road.
Exactly.
That's exactly,
Exactly,
yep,
right?
that's what it is. So can I ask you, we're going to kind of backtrack a little bit, but when you said that you kind of were in it and then let it go, can you tell me like what happened, like why you had to kind of bench it and come back to
Sure.
it?
Yeah. So when I was a new mom, I guess, I encountered energy. And I don't know how, I don't even remember how I got interested in reflexology, but I end up taking reflexology. From there, I realized I could feel energy.
Okay.
And I got my certification and I did a whole bunch of different other energy medicine modalities like touch for health, healing touch, that kind of stuff. And I wanted to make it my business.
Yeah.
Well, with a young family, a husband that wasn't overly supportive of that kind of thing. And I just didn't have the confidence in myself,
Yeah.
basically. That was the big thing,
Yeah.
right? I didn't have the confidence in myself to do this. I was waiting for somebody to say, yes, let's you need to do it this way or whatever. I'm not even exactly sure, but I know I tried various different ways and it never worked. And we lived not in town, so we lived about half an hour out of town. And of course, those obstacles I thought were insurmountable at
Right.
that point as well. And, trying to have people out in my house, I didn't have a dedicated area for it. And so I just kind of walked away from the business aspect. I didn't give it up myself,
Right.
right? I still used all my tricks. And of course, I was into aromatherapy and all that kind of stuff too. So I brought that all into looking after my children.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't expand it and I didn't fully embrace it either, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, once they were gone and I realized that, I didn't have to, focus solely on them anymore.
Yeah.
Look at myself.
Yeah. It definitely changes the amount of time we have to divulge in self-care when we're not having to be the secretary and the mom and the nanny and the cook and and work too. And yeah, it opens up a lot of avenues once we have a little of that to ourselves.
Yeah, well, and the big thing for me was it's like there has to be something more than this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
where I was at, I was like, God help me if this is all there is for the
Right.
rest of my life,
Yeah.
right?
I actually, when my daughter was very little, my first child, I went through something very similar where I was like, "Oh God, please do not tell me this is all there is to life because obviously just end it now. Like I'm just over it already. Like this is null and void for me." So yeah, I can totally relate to that story. So real quick, when you talk about like deep alignment healing, what does deep alignment mean for you?
For me, it really goes back to really soul level healing. So basically, healing at the soul level, yes, we have to get all the other stuff off too, but then as we get down into the soul, then we can actually, there's various different ways of saying this, but it's connecting into the oneness or the universe, connecting into the earth. I see grids as well.
Hmm.
So in the universe and in the earth and
Hmm.
in ourselves. So then connecting those, and those are really deep layers of,
So you
you know,
probably see ley lines and stuff too. Do you see ley lines or mostly grids?
I see grids. I haven't really played with ley lines yet. So, I don't know. At this point, I haven't really been around a lot of places that have ley lines since I've actually got into I've
It's
been
just like not on your awareness right now. Yeah.
not really,
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
And so when you do different modalities, like what does that look like? What different modalities are you? I know you said reflexology is kind of one of the ones in your toolbox and hands-on healing. Is that like Reiki or is it
I don't do Reiki.
okay? So you're intuitively doing, I'm going to say intuitively doing Reiki, but even though it's not like maybe it's something like that because I'll just share a little bit about my story with Reiki. Um, I intuitively was doing hands-on healing. I didn't know it was called a thing until I learned Reiki. And I was like, I've been doing this the whole fucking time. What the hell? Like, so like it was just like I was already intuitively doing it, But then I
Right.
took the master certification for Reiki, and I was like, oh my God, I was doing this the whole time. However, I will say that even though I learned that modality and I have an understanding, it's Usui Reiki. Um, Even though I have that understanding and that tool in my box, I do not do it the way they do it. I still intuitively do it how I always did.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, so I do have reflexology in my toolbox, though I'm not certified in it anymore. Um, like I said, the other ones, the one that I got into when I started all this again was Eden Energy Medicine.
Mhm.
So I'm a certified Eden Energy Medicine
I
practitioner.
have no idea what that is.
So Eden Energy Medicine was developed by Donna Eden,
I'm going to write
and
that down.
she and
Look this up.
she can see energy.
Okay.
Like she can
So like
literally
auras,
see.
like
She can
auras.
see
Okay.
auras more than auras, like
Okay.
all the different layers of.
Yeah.
So she can actually physically see. I can't physically see.
She sounds like me because I can physically see also.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. I would is
I
one of the
guess
things that I
maybe.
want to be able to do, but that's not in my toolbox at this time. Um, but so she developed a program based on everything that she could see and how the energy works together. So
Okay.
she basically goes on that there's like 9 different energy systems
Okay.
that she teaches.
Okay.
And so it's on based on that. Um, I have that in my toolbox. What I use when I'm working with somebody is whatever I'm shown by their soul, by their guides, all that kind of stuff is what I do. Like, yes, I have all these different modalities. I have theta healing as well.
Okay.
I have my own modalities that I have created. Um, but I use whatever I'm shown to
Yeah.
use. Like I
Which
don't
makes
do
sense because when
clean.
you have a sitter, the factors change. Like your guide working with their guides and their team and how is the best way to service that individual and bring them exactly what they need in the moment. And so that makes sense. Every sitter is different and every modality is going to come forward different. So I that totally makes sense.
Yeah. And there's a lot of times if I'm working with somebody, there's something that shows up that it's like, okay, never done it this way before, but
Yep.
let's do it,
Yeah.
right?
Diving in. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
So when you're working with your clients, what would you say are the most common like root causes that you see in patterns? Like what do you think is probably the number one root cause that comes up for you?
Um, some kind of past belief, a lot of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? It keeps people in patterns that they don't even know they have,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And
yeah.
I'm sure you've come across that as
I
well.
have plenty of my own. Yeah, I've
Oh
got
yeah, me
like,
too.
yeah, I'm like loaded with limited beliefs. Yeah, it's absolutely in my programming. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing to unlearn, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, loaded with that shit. It's so funny.
Oh
So
dear.
you also wrote some books, right? You have some
I
books.
did. I wrote a story in a compilation book of Women Who Shine. It was my first foray into writing.
Okay.
I can't say it was the best that I've ever done, but it was my first foray and it was very honest. It was basically about um my transition through childhood, how childhood actually, brought me into where I'm at and how I actually got into the energy and starting to live as myself
Yeah.
because for
Just kind of
years, of
just
course,
kind of how you were embracing yourself or
yeah, because I
okay.
really was hiding for
Yeah.
many, many years. I hid, right? I
Yeah.
didn't even when I first started this spiritual journey again after my kids were gone, I was still hiding, right?
Girl, I'm still
So,
unmasking all the time.
oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, like we've got like layers of mask on and it's a fun thing.
Yeah.
Like who needs Halloween when I look like this all the time? Like I don't even have to dress up.
Right.
But yeah, like I feel you on that one. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of work to come out of hiding. Can I tell you, I was so hidden in my own journey that I did not come out publicly as a psychic till I was 38. So that's how long I tried to hide and run from it. Crazy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm still on, as you say, I'm still unmasking. And
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, all my layers that I'm going through or levels that I'm going through goes and, oh, well, this is another one you get to present to
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's kind of,
So when you were able to share that story in that book, what was that experience like for you? Like, was it liberating? Was it scary? Was it kind of all the things? Like, how did you walk away from that?
oh my God, it was so scary.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so scary. Um, there was many times as I was writing it or, putting, editing it or whatever, um, I felt like, you know, calling the lady up who was putting it together and go, no, I'm not doing this. And actually, I did one time, actually. And she's like, Sherry, just relax. Everybody gets that way, right?
Yeah.
Just relax. You're fine.
That makes sense.
It's a great
It's
story.
almost
Just,
like cold feet.
just oh, big time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was I how do I even say it? It was uh one of the biggest steps at that point that I had ever done because it put me out there,
Yeah. Talk about
right?
vulnerability.
You bet.
Yeah. Wow.
And yeah. So, but once I did it, very liberating to do it,
Yeah.
right? And then I put out my children's book.
Yeah. I want to hear about that too.
And it was something somebody was saying it was getting edited, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Sherry, this actually follows your life." And I'm like, I didn't even realize it, but it was like, it was hiding or not, feeling in your power, and then finally stepping into your power to do things the way you wanted to do it, which
Right.
is what Fred does in his book, right? He's all alone. He doesn't feel like he belongs, all that kind of stuff until he finds the one thing that he really likes doing. And everybody judged what he was doing because he's like, you're never going to, live your dream. And he's like, damn straight I am. And he, went and did what he needed to do to actually um get to his dream. So,
Well, and I love that because how many of us are always, all of us, going through obstacles and being told we're not going to reach our goals, or even if it's not other people telling us that, we doubt ourselves and we have imposter syndrome creeping in and ripping us to shreds and all the things. And I think what's that? Did you ever see that? It's like a quote or a meme or something about how everybody laughed at Noah when he was building the ark.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you're never gonna do this. This is crazy, whatever. But then some of us just have to go about it our own way and our own process, and then we get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean even this morning, not yes, this morning, yesterday morning, it was like you have to find your own way. Like I was following a meditation. Actually, I've been working with another healer myself, and she had me doing this one exercise, and I was like, this is not working for me. It
Yeah.
is not. And when I finally gave that process permission to just leave and find my own way, I accomplished what I was wanting to,
Yeah.
right?
No, and I think it's really important that you bring that up because um I can speak from experience when I say with my neurodivergent brain, I do things very differently. So when I was younger and people were like, "Oh, meditate and do all these things," and I was like, "My brain doesn't work like that." And sitting still was actually kind of counterproductive for me because it felt like I was having to struggle to force myself to sit still when my body doesn't function the same way. And what I learned is I started doubting myself and like, I'm doing it wrong. I can't meditate. I can't do these things. I can't tap in this way. And I thought it was something wrong with me. But what I learned was no, I'm trying to fit into something that doesn't work for me. And if I do more meditation in movement and allow my process, all of it's there. It just looks my way instead of this way.
That I find that very interesting because my daughter's been going through some stuff, but she also feels that I'm probably got the neurodivergent brain as well.
I
And
feel like
I'm going,
some
I'm
of us
going to,
specials do, you know?
yeah, I'm going to have to actually explore, the meditation through movement or whatever, because yeah, just sitting and meditating has never been my thing. Sitting and journaling
Mhm.
does it just drives me absolutely insane trying to
Mhm.
sit there and journal stuff, right? It just
Yeah. Well,
doesn't work for
and
me at all.
now, like now in retrospect, I've come a long way since then and I manage it really well. But I can journal, I can sit and meditate, but is it like my go-to? Absolutely not. I have other ways to access my intuition and get into the like nuts and bolts of the things and to get to it quicker. I can't do things like that where I'm feeling like it's a chore and I'm restricted and I have to do it this way
Yeah.
because then I'm so focused on that as opposed to allowing the flow of the
Yeah.
process
Yeah.
and then it fucks it all up anyway. So I'm like, okay, this is why it's so important for people to understand it's okay to do it your fucking way.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah.
You block the gifts if you don't.
Exactly. And you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even when I'm like you were saying you can meditate or whatever. So can I.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it works better than others, and I have to, make allowance for that. If that's not gonna flow that day, then it's not gonna flow that day, and that's perfectly fine, right?
Yep.
It's even the same way, and I'm sure you found this too with working with clients, is you have to work with the way they do things as well, right? Which is why I listen to my intuitive awareness because it's like, okay, this wouldn't work for me, but okay, let's do it this way anyway, and it works for them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, and it's even like we were talking about Reiki earlier. We were talking about how like we have our own way to do even those things that are labeled as Reiki now. Like I was doing it my own way, you were doing it your own way. And even after learning that modality, I was like, okay, cool, good experience, have the information, but I still do it my way because that is the most effective. It's what works for me.
yeah.
I think it's we just like to pave our own path.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm okay with being called rebellious. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if it's rebellion, it is finding your own way.
Yeah,
Everybody is different.
yeah,
One way doesn't necessarily work for everybody. I mean, it will work for probably multiple people, but but you need to be able to change it up or this or that or whatever. However, it is for somebody because everybody their mind works different.
Hmm.
Their soul, of course, works different. How they communicate to the universe, how they communicate to the earth, how they communicate within their own body is different
Yeah.
than, you know, everybody else. So it's everybody's unique, and you've got to meet them where at their own uniqueness, to work with them.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's part of like witnessing
Mhm.
their journey and their process too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you have worked with clients, have you had like maybe one that stands out the most to you, like this was the most dramatic transformation I've ever got to witness or experience? Is there one that, without sharing names, like that maybe you could share a little bit about that stood out to you the most?
Yes.
Okay.
Though of the one that I'm thinking of, um, she was a businesswoman, or she is a businesswoman. She'd been working on her business for a while, and it was just kind of stalemated. She also worked in a company that actually also doing what she was doing. So she was trying anyway, she was not getting anywhere with her own business, basically. We started working together even after the first session that we had. She came to me on our second call and she's like, Sherry, you're never gonna guess what actually happened. She's like, this is what I wanted. I wanted to be offered this by the business or who I was working for, my employer. I wanted to go as a contractor or whatever. They came to me and they offered me this, and I came back with a counter and they accepted, and this is what's happened, right? So everything that she actually wanted from this employer that gave her the freedom to expand on her own as well, because she was then contracting, she got it after even just the first one.
Nice.
Um, we had a couple more sessions after that, and by the time we stopped working together, um, she had let go of a few things that were not in her best interest. She had the freedom, she had clients coming to her like crazy. She's blown up in, it hasn't even been a year since we worked together, and she's blown up to, um, I think she's getting close to like seven figures at this point. Now,
Oh, good
I'm
for
not
her.
I'm not taking credit for all of it, but there was just a few key parts that just needed to be shifted,
Yeah.
that just made her just really step into herself and into her abilities and into her dreams.
Yeah, and I think that's important as a healer that you get to sit and, be a part of that story and just help them. I mean, basically they're doing all the work, right? So, like you said, we don't get to take credit. However, sometimes we can hold codes that will help them shift through some of those obstacles that they just can't grasp on their own at the moment. But they have all the accountability of reaching out to us for help. They have all the courage to do those things. And we just get to like witness and watch as, oh, yeah, let me remind you of your power. Let me remind you that
Yeah.
this is all you need to do. And then they just take off. It's great.
Yeah. And then the other thing would be to actually see the stuff that they can't see.
Hmm.
So, just giving them another way of looking at it, or
Yeah.
going, you know, gently bring it in that, maybe you're not seeing this. Like there was something, and that's basically with her, you know, there was some past life stuff that was holding her back. So there was a pattern that I detected, and I'm like, okay, well, there's this pattern, and there seems to be this belief, and then, like how we muscle test or however we do it to figure out exactly what it is, and then clearing that. I mean, it really, they also have to be willing to
Yeah,
let it go,
that's a key
right?
part. Yeah, they have to be super willing and ready to do the work. 100%.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
letting it go and move on with it too. Because I mean,
yeah,
we can clear something, but it doesn't mean that it's cleared if they don't want it to be, right?
right. Yeah. When you're doing muscle testing, are you using a pendulum or are you just doing like muscle testing with just the body?
I I do it various different ways. It depends
Okay,
on who it is and the situation that it is. So
for
I
sure.
either use a pendulum. A lot of times I will use a pendulum, especially when it's over Zoom kind of
Mm-hmm.
deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can tap into their energy and test on my body as well, though.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
And then sometimes if they actually know how to muscle test, then I will get them to muscle test so they can actually see what they're
Yeah,
saying yes and no to as well, right?
yeah, for sure. I like that there's different ways to do that. I think it's I've never been one that does well with that. That's just never been my cup of tea, whether it's pendulum or whatever. I think some people use dowsing rods too, right?
Possibly.
Maybe. I don't know.
Mm,
I might be, it
something that I
might be a
use.
shot in the dark. I have no idea. Um, okay. So another question I have for you, Shari, is what's a core truth that you think the world needs to remember most right now?
A core truth that the world needs to know right now,
Yeah.
that they are not separate. They are,
Mm,
a part of a whole. We are all one part of the universe. We are not separate. And actually tapping into that is key,
yeah.
especially right now with the way everything is growing, right?
Yeah.
Everything is evolving, everything is really pushing us to actually accept that. I'm guessing that you have recognized that push of the universe to really step into who you really are. And part of being who you truly are is being part of the big picture, not
Yeah.
just you're not an individual. You are an individual, but you're not an individual either,
Right.
right?
It's not to diminish our individuality by any means because we are each an individual expression, 100%.
Yeah,
But it's a percentage of a whole picture, like a little puzzle piece that goes into this much bigger picture for sure.
exactly. Right.
We all play our part. So, yeah. So, do you have any other words of wisdom to offer our audience before we hop off of here? And also, can you tell us where we can find your books? I am going to put like everything in the show notes, but if you would just want to let people know where to find you the easiest, that would help too.
Okay. The one of the last things, um, just be yourself. As hard as that can be, and I know it can be hard
Yeah.
to actually show up because, I mean, even there's a circle of my friends that I'm just starting to feel comfortable really showing, my woo side of things to them. So just step into who you are, listen to those intuitive
Nudges.
nudges. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
the word that I'm looking for. Um, because when we follow those nudges, when we actually notice our patterns, then we can actually start looking at those and going, okay, this maybe needs to change, or maybe I just need to follow this way, or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So doing that way. And one other thing is you don't have to do it alone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think this is one of the big things for people that have been on this self-development journey, spiritual journey, that they think they have to do it themselves,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Yep.
And I mean, I have learned so much from my teachers, my mentors, my healers, that I've worked with. And they've shown me things that I wouldn't have seen otherwise, right? Or it would have taken me a long time to see it or something like that. So you don't always have to do it alone. Find somebody you trust, find somebody, even a friend that you can talk to. If you can just talk things out with, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, no, I would definitely second that. And I think that sometimes for some of us, a lot of that loneliness during that integration phase from old life to new life is it's really a toxic trait because we're so used to being um, misjudged and cast out as different and mistreated and all the things. And so it's we have a hard time reaching out sometimes out of fear. And so, but you're right, there is a lot of support out there and other woo-woos out there just waiting for their community.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was listening to, sorry, I'm not letting
No, you're fine.
I was listening to one of your podcasts before we came or before I came on here. And I'm like, oh, I'm definitely gonna have to listen more to them. It was you and Lee actually
Oh, yeah.
we're going we're having a conversation, and it's like, yeah, you guys could definitely be, our good tribe to actually listen to, because there is, yeah, I could see you being um part of my tribe, definitely. Right.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
can absolutely be buddies. Like,
Yeah.
also, I'll get your information when we get off of here. Like, I'll make sure that I have your socials and stuff too, so we can connect. But
Awesome.
yeah, thank you for that. That's a
Okay.
huge compliment because were you listening to the one where me and Lee were just kind of shooting the shit and talking about random stuff?
I don't know if it was rad. I mean, you were going on. I mean, you were just, yeah, probably.
Probably.
Um,
Yeah.
Probably you were talking about, oh,
Is it
I
that one where I'm talking about where it's okay to not be okay?
I don't
It's okay. It doesn't matter. I was just
I'm
curious
I'm
which
not sure
which
what
one.
it
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't far back in your um stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think, but I was in thoroughly enjoying it. I'm going to continue listening to it when I get off of here.
Thank you for that.
Um, but yeah. So anyway, so my books are on Amazon.
Okay.
Um, they are also. Do I have them on my website right at the moment?
You
That
know, I
page
don't think
is on.
I don't know that I have the links for the books in the jot form either. So I might need to make sure I get that from you too.
Okay.
So I'll make sure that we
Okay.
do that here in a second.
So yeah, on Amazon, and then of course I more active on TikTok, but I am also on Instagram.
Okay, cool.
So
TikTok and Insta,
uh,
writing this down. Okay. And so that's the fastest way people can connect to you is that way.
yeah, or going onto my website, and there's a contact form on there too. So
Okay, perfect. Well, Shari, thank you so much for being with us today. I am going to have to stop the recording, but I just wanted to tell our audience goodbye. See you guys next time.